Whenever you move to an area, you forget that this habitat has been here for a very, very long time. We tend not to see this continuous encroachment of human presence on the landscape. So much of the wildlife that we're losing is not from the direct result of exploitation on those individual species, but it's just habitat loss. A corridor allows us to link all of these important biological features here on the North Quimper Peninsula. That include wetlands, beaches, forests, and even former prairie sites. We have to sort of put our heads inside the animals that live here, and they often need very different things than we do. They need places where they can go and allow them to travel through relatively undisturbed habitats. 50 years from now, this is going to look very different, and this corridor is going to be like a ribbon of green, a ribbon of life flowing through these neighborhoods.
And you'd be amazed how old that cedar might be. Perhaps.
The great thing about the Jefferson Land Trust is that they're coming in, they're finding these areas, and they're setting them aside for the future. For 10 years, 50 years, essentially forever. And that allows these places to come. We can celebrate as humans, but also provides habitat for wildlife.
My grandparents came to the valley, and it'll be 100 years this April. And then my mother and dad were married and came up river and bought 120 acres below here. And then when we were going to get married, why, we bought the 80 acres next to them.
We took logs to the mill and had them sawn, and this house has a lot of the lumber made from our own logs. We were really thrilled to be able to put it in the land trust and also in a family trust. It gives us a secure feeling about it for our family. We don't even think of terms of money when we think of the property. No, there's no way we could put a price on it. Where could we take $1 million even and replace it? It couldn't be done.
Pretty much everything you can see has been added to the county ownership by Jefferson Land Trust. This is a snapshot of what we'll see into the future is healthy riparian forest without harvest, without any major changes in the structure of the forest except what the river does on its own accord. It's almost like an island of biodiversity that the Jefferson Land Trust has helped acquire, and that in the long term really matters in terms of species survival and diversity of the species, even in its own habitat. The beauty of this parcel is it's both upland and river floodplain. This is used heavily by the Roosevelt elk herd that uses the Dosewalp State Park. They're a very migratory animal, both in range and their habitat. So they will use this probably about every 2 weeks. It's great habitat, not only for elk, but all our native species. The sum of all that habitat makes good salmon habitat. In my career, I've never seen so many parcels come together for one conservation cause.
I was first introduced to Manos Rock in in 1950. I was only 5 years old, and my grandfather told me he was going to take me to a place that was really sacred to our people. Tamanous means guardian spirit or spirit power. When we come up here, we usually sing a song, let our ancestors know that we're here and that we still care about this place. While we're up there on top of the rock, my grandfather put his hand on my head and he told me, Kawa, when you become a Sapa like me, you will have to fight for this rock.
I remember being at the top of Tamanous Rock with a group of children and looking down at the fields below bathed in sun and saying, someday this will be your school. What we really want to be able to demonstrate here is how we can strive to live in balance with the needs that we as humans have for food and farming and the needs for wildlife. Long after we are gone, this will still be a green space. This will still be a place to grow food. And hopefully a place that children will know what that means and be able to interact with the earth.
During those years, I promised the Cotton Corporation when we were through with the land, and I knew that one day that would come to an end, that we would clean it up and that we would be good citizens, we would leave no mess, and I just was so happy that it ended up in the public domain. It's a beautiful creek that needs to be conserved.
Paddling up the mouth of Chimacum Creek into the Chimacum Creek estuary, which is one of the crown jewels of habitat protection in East Jefferson County. It's such a rich haven for so many species of wildlife.
It's almost like a little piece of Alaska back here. It's a real special place and it's still nicely intact.
What's so amazing about that is that human development is right over the crest of the hill beyond these tall trees that we see that are protected forever.
Early 1990s, the run of summer chum in this creek blinked out. They went extinct.
The salmon are really our canary in the coal mine. They're an indicator of the health of the whole system.
For the coho salmon, which run all the way to the headwaters of the stream, 12 miles up there, they need the whole thing to be all linked up, like links in a chain. We're 14 years out from when they were completely extinct, and last year we had a return of about 2,000 fish to this system.
It is an incredible demonstration of what partnerships can do. Most of what we see in this lower main stem of Chimacum Creek is protected permanently through outright ownership by Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife or Jefferson Land Trust, and through conservation easements. This whole area will remain a wonderful haven for wildlife forever.